Well, there's one thing that we can guarantee you. If you're visiting any Disney park, you're going to be waiting in line. So let's talk about how you can make the most of your time in line. You ever waited in line, you know that it can get a little cumbersome, especially when there are long lineups and you have family, friends, mixed group, all ages. We know lineups can be the place where blow-ups happen. We're gonna go through 8 tips for making the most of the lineups. And then at the end, we're gonna give you a few strategies that will help you out a little bit.
Yeah, so the first one is to take advantage of that line for forced connection. Now, we have teenagers at home, and so, you know what, they're not really forced to be with us that often. They have agency, our daughter drives, they can take off with their friends. And so we love these times to just connect relationally, have that conversation in those lines. So take advantage of it, ask how their life is going, their week's going, what was the highlight of their day so far.
Yeah, these lineups are just a great moment for just really good open-ended questions to reconnect with your family. All right, number 2, make sure you eat something. Have a snack. Especially if you're gonna go in one of those bigger lineups, maybe consider, hey, are we hungry? Should we maybe have a snack, get our blood sugar up a little bit? Sometimes just having a snack goes a long ways to making those long lineups a little more manageable.
Now keep in mind that you will not have any access, unless it's some of those really, really long rides, to a washroom. So kind of keep in mind that mess factor and also smell factor, just be considerate to the guests around you. But we often will pack a protein bar and a water bottle for this purpose. Just kind of ties everybody through. Yeah. And then it also cuts down on some of the cost of the snacks outside of those lines that you would purchase. So number 3 is to do a scavenger hunt. Now we don't mean to do find 7 red hats scavenger hunt, but there are scavenger hunts you can find online, as well as these incredible books by Meredith Pierce, lots to do in line. Now my understanding is that these are out of print, but you can still find them online through eBay or Amazon. Now these books kind of walk you through the queue, because these Disney Imagineers have hidden so many details in the queue. It's just a really fun way to kind of help those eagle-eyed kids in your group to have something to be mindful of during that time. And so pay attention to the queue, whether it's an official scavenger hunt like this, or just, you know, taking in the immersion of what the Imagineers have prepared for you.
So the Imagineers and the designers of these rides, they've thought about the lineups as well. So if you download the Play Disney Parks app, and you can play along with some different interactive things throughout the lineups. And that's another way to kind of just discover some new things, some new trivia, new things that you might not have known about the lineup that you're in that queue. Link in the description, you can download that before your trip.
Yeah, and it's really fun. You can either do it as a group or individual, but they do do it head to head in different spots. And so it might be a great way to get, you know, those multi-generational trips, people involved with other people in your group that maybe they wouldn't have a conversation with. So it's just a really fun way of doing that. Now, to continue on with your apps, to go back to the My Disney Experience app, our next tip is to take advantage of the time in line to place your mobile order for your next meal.
Yes.
Mobile order is gonna save you so much time when you are eating quick service. And so you place the order through your app, pay through your app, and then when you get to the restaurant, you just say, I'm here. They kind of prepare your food for you and it will send you a notification. But rather than having your whole family stand and scan the board, take advantage of this time to do that.
Yeah, so if you know you're in a 45-minute lineup, then get your order in for a window after that ride's gonna be over, and then you just show up and you eat right away. It's a great little hack for sure.
Yes, and you can alter the time. So if that ride breaks down or something happens,
you can push it out a little bit further.
Absolutely, Disney's made accommodation. So keeping with that theme of pre-planning the next part of your day, here's our tip number 6, and that's to make your next Genie Plus selection if you choose to get Genie Plus during your trip, and we recommend it. We get it, it stinks to pay for it, but we think you get so much done, and if you're only going to the parks every other year, every third year like we do, it's just worth it for us. And so you can make your next Genie Plus selection when you hit one of two criteria. The first is it's been 2 hours since you made that last Genie Plus reservation. The second criteria is when you go past the checkpoint, you actually have to scan your ticket tech, whether that's your regular ticket or your Magic Band, and that will open up the availability in your My Disney Experience app to make the next selection. But scrolling through that list of all of the return times on your My Disney Experience app can take a couple minutes.
And determining with your party what ride you want to do.
Yeah.
So do it in line for sure.
Yeah, might as well.
So tip number 7 for spending the time to get through those lineups is go to your PhotoPass. So on your My Disney Experience, you're going to be going to PhotoPass, look at the photos that you've taken throughout the day, and that can be just a fun way to kind of let some time kind of tick away while you're in that lineup.
Yeah, and if you do get PhotoPass and you've got that on your My Disney Experience app, all those ride pass photos will automatically download, and that's where you really get all the giggles coming out to see what people's pictures and their faces look like on those ride photos. We had one where every single person in our party was faced away from the camera. Everybody else was looking at it except for our family, and so yeah, it's just a great time to connect and laugh over whoever looks.
Plus, you'll see those magic shots and what they put into the magic shots. What were you randomly pointing at, and making you feel super weird, or holding your hands out? Yeah. And you get to see kind of what was put there.
Yeah, it's really fun. Now here is our last tip, and that is to think through some additional apps that you want on your phone. We're a big fan of Heads Up in our family, and so it's kind of like a taboo, like reverse taboo kind of game. If you get that app, when you open it in the Disney parks, you actually get a free pack, and that is all Disney based words, and so it's definitely worth downloading even if you don't play it in line, just to get that free pack. But we also are huge fans of pass and play games like Clue or Ticket to Ride, and again, they just help kind of keep your party entertained as you pass through those queues.
So before we get into our strategies, would you consider liking, subscribing, hitting that bell for notifications of upcoming videos? We have some great videos coming up to just share the magic of how to make your Disney experience as magical as possible. Everywhere from resorts, parks, Disney cruise, and everything that Disney has to offer.
Well, we did say we have some strategies for beating the lines. We've talked about making the most out of the lines, but how do you ensure that they're going to be as short as possible? The number one tip we have is to make sure that you set that alarm clock and you go for rope drop. You want to be at the parks a minimum of a half an hour before that park opens for you. So whether you're a resort guest and you get to go before it opens to people who aren't staying on site, be there half an hour before that. They will let you kind of into the parks and into a specific spot where they stop, they corral all the guests with a rope, or they used to with a rope, hence the name, but you will get so much done if you go at the beginning of the day.
And choose some of those key rides, those key big lineup attractions that are gonna just fill up really quickly throughout the time of the day. And if you get there right away, you get a great ride in, and then you can move on from there.
Yeah, I will say there are some rides that are notorious for breaking down at the beginning of the day that are like e-ticket attractions, which are those big headliner rides. And so you might not want to rope drop them because potentially you are going to get stuck in a shut down ride queue, and then you miss out on all of it.
Yeah,
so
our last time was we did Mine Train.
Yeah.
And we did Rise of the Resistance. So yeah.
And those two are notorious for being in that. So our strategy for those specific rides, and we can put some of those in the comments below, are to go at the end of the night. Disney is going to allow you to get into the queue for any ride in the park within minutes of the park closing. And so you could actually have your entire line time be after park hours. Then you, like girl mathed it, waited 0 minutes.
Also, consider the fireworks. So for me, I don't really care about fireworks. I would rather jump in a line when all of those people, that massive humanity is gathered around the castle watching the fireworks.
Yeah.
I'm off doing rides because the lineups are super chill.
Yeah, and parades are in the same boat.
Yeah.
But last trip, we went on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train as the fireworks were going off, and it was pretty magical to be able to see them from the ride. And then we've already alluded to it, or I think we've actually flat out stated it. Genie Plus is worth it, especially if you are an infrequent Disney Parks guest.
Yeah.
It does stink to have to pay for it and then to pay for those individual lightning lanes on top of that, but to ensure that you are going to be able to ride as many rides as you desire is worth it in our opinion.
For sure. So we hope this helps you with just managing your expectations and lineups, because you're going to be in line. That's a guarantee. But if you have some strategies and some kind of things in reserve ready to pull out to help make that time go a little bit quicker, we hope that this has helped. We are Maple Mickey, putting the magic back into your Disney vacation, and we look forward to seeing you next time.